Analog tools for life. You know, it's so easy to live our lives attached to or one of these things. I mean, not a day goes by where I haven't got this in one hand and these, which are my little earpod things, in the pocket, earbuds in the ear, listening to something. But sometimes I do desire that quiet time and just space to, I heard someone describe it as think in complete sentences. I think it was Andrew Huberman had quoted it from someone else who I can't remember who he said, but I love this idea of creating that space in our day, in our minds, where we can think in complete sentences. And sometimes we need some tools that just help us unplug from our digital lives and plug back in to a slower pace of analog life. And these are the tools that help me do that. Really, I mean, I am a YouTube person. I love my YouTube, but when I'm not YouTubing, this is where it's at. So the tools that I've got here, small selection of pretty much, no, not a small selection. This is pretty much all of it except for my work planner. So I'll talk about the cards in a moment. The two main things I would say would be my planners. So I've got my personal planner. This is just a Moterm Luxe in the size A5, and in here I really do use this to plan my here and now and commitments that are coming up in the future. I don't use this necessarily for logging or tracking or journaling or anything like that. This is purely to keep me on track with the here and now of what is happening. I've got my monthly dividers so I can quickly flip to a month, do any future planning. If we just go to April, for example, I will just start jotting in things that are happening in that month within here. But I do like to use a weekly insert. So if I just show you a blank weekly. So this is where I keep my life in order. Now I could do this digitally. I could do this in Google Calendar. At work, I do use Google Calendar, but I don't like it because it kind of feels like set it and forget it to a certain extent. Whereas in here, as long as I am coming in here every day, which I do, and looking at what's going on and thinking about how am I going to use this slice of time that I have today, then I feel like I'm staying on track better than I would if I was just relying on digital things. Now, digital does have its place. I love to use my Google Notes app for certain reminders, so I can set it on a day at a specific time if I need to remember to pay a bill or pack something in my kids' bags or whatever the thing might be. For example, this is one that I love. I use a jug for filtering water and it has a filter in there that has to be changed every 45 days. So in my Google Notes app, I've just got a reminder to go off every 45 days to do that. So anyway, we're going off track a little bit here. So this is one of the tools, my analog planner for organising my here and now and future commitments. Now, the next tool that I use pretty much every day, I might miss a day here or there, this is my gratitude journal. Now, this is also by Moterm. This is one of their veg tan traveler's journal covers. I think this is called the standard size, and in here I've just got traveler's journal. I've got if I show you a blank-ish one that I've just set up, so I've got I think they call it the free week. Do I have the bit of paper in here? No. So this is the undated free week, which is why it's called free, because it's undated. It's a horizontal week on the left-hand page, and then on the right-hand page, there's just a grid where you could continue across if you want to. And how I use this is log in gratitude every single day. I'm not going to show you because some of it's quite personal, but I will just come in here and at the end of the day I will think of some of the highlights from the day and just make a note of it. And I tend to stick to this every night. Sometimes I might miss a night, which is super frustrating because it means the following night I've got to go back through my memory banks, but sometimes that's a good thing because it's easy to forget some of the little gems and treasures that have happened throughout your day, especially if you've had a particularly hard day. forcing yourself to think over the good things and not just dwell, or what's the word? Dwell on things, like circular thinking on the negative things that have happened. Yes, bad things happen. I'm not saying this is like being Pollyanna-ish and like everything's great, positive vibes only. Like, no, let's be real here. Life has its way of keeping you on your toes, but sometimes it's easy to get too focused on the stupid thing that I might have said, or an interaction that didn't go quite how I would have liked it, or just the negative stuff, and just reminding yourself of some of the treasures that have happened, I think is really, really important. So again, this is an analog tool for life. I'm not with my phone. I try not to have the phone on. I try and put it to one side. I sit in bed and I really spend time in here. And then on the right-hand page, I will just add some additional little bits and pieces. Sometimes it will be a Bible verse that's really stood out to me that I want to sort of meditate on or riff on. There might be a piece of advice that I need to give to myself, and sometimes just writing that down and seeing that there every time I'm filling it out for that week is a really good reminder. So that is my gratitude journal. The other little notebooks I've got in here, one is just for notes, and then if I'm like traveling out and about, and then this one is my and I'm not going to show it again because this is my one that I take the whole thing to church with me, and I will fill this insert in during the sermon. If there's anything that really stands out that I want to make a note on, any Bible verses again, I will jot that in here. Maybe I should talk about the pen. It's just a cheap pen, Kaweco Sport. Not much to say, really. I love a fountain pen. I'm not an aficionado, whatever the word is, because clearly I have just a £20, £21 pen in there. Doesn't seem to be too bad on this Traveller's Journal paper. Could maybe be a little bit better, but the bleed through isn't too bad in my opinion, so I'm happy with that pen. The next tool in my analog tools for life would be, maybe let's go here to my journal. Now, I haven't been using this as much, and I don't know why. There's seasons for everything, I get that. But this was really something that I was using for morning pages. So in the morning, I would come into this book and just note down anything that was bothering me or anything that I wanted to journal on. I will also do like at the beginning of the year, I will write out like a bucket list in the front page. I'm again not going to show you because some of it is personal, but I found that I haven't really been sticking to this as much. It's been very sporadic. I've not been doing my morning pages every morning, but I do still come to this book whenever I want to just brain dump things that are or have been bothering me and sort of unpick the knots of life, as it were, and lay them out straight and see them for what they are rather than this big bunched up mess. This is one of those tools that really helps me. And again, this is an analog tool. I'm not going to be scrolling on my phone whilst I'm doing this. I might listen to nature sounds. I might put digital, but I might put these in just because I find it closes off the outside world so that I can focus on my own inner world, is probably the best way of saying it. And it won't be a podcast, it won't be music with words, it will be lo-fi beats or binaural frequencies or nature sounds, as I said, something where it's not too distracting and it just helps my brain make sense of the chaos or put chaos into order. Now, the next tool I'm going to talk about, and it kind of goes hand in hand with the book that I'm not using. Actually, we should talk about this. This is and I'm going to do a terrible job of pronouncing it, but this is a Leuchtturm and 1917 A5 size hardcover notebook. It's a lined one. Can't remember what the colour is on this one actually. The details might be in here. Nope. But yeah, I love these. I've been using this for a while now. I was a Moleskine person, so I also have soft cover Moleskine, but I don't know. I think I prefer the paper in the Leuchtturm to the Moleskine, but prior to using this one, this was the notebook that I would always buy in the hardcover. I don't know why I picked it. I think I saw this in TK Maxx or TJ Maxx. Here in the UK we call it TK Maxx. I spotted this in there and just thought, oh, that would be handy for a creative writing course that I joined. Obviously, I was only on that course for a short while. It wasn't like a year or anything. It was like a 3-month course, and I haven't filled out the entire book, so it just sits there. But anyway, we're going off track a little bit. I do love a notebook, and this is the one that I'm partial to at the moment, the Leuchtturm. Again, I apologise. So the next tool is, are these packs of journaling cards. Now, I love these for just giving me something for my mind to ponder or meditate on or think about. And I've got a few different packs here. I've got the Simplicity cards by the School of Life. I actually picked these up from the journal shop online. I ordered them online. And what I love about these cards, and I'm not going to show all of them, is that they've just got this, I mean, it's repetitive. There are groups of photography, but they've just got this beautiful, simple photography on the back of the cards. And then if we just take maybe this top one at random, it will give you something to ponder on. So complete the sentence. What I no longer want so much of in my life is, and obviously, in conjunction with one of these, it just gives you something to think about in your life where maybe you haven't actually spent the time to ponder that. So that's the Simplicity cards. These are also great with friends or your partner. Like, I will do this with my husband sometimes when he will humour me with these. But yeah, I really love these ones. And in fact, they do quite a good series of different cards. So I highly recommend checking out their products. But yeah, Simplicity cards is the pack that I've got here. The little tagline, focus on life's essentials. As I've said before, I've been listening to the book Essentialism by Greg McKeown, so this seemed to be a really good little sidekick, I guess, to thinking about life in an essentialist way. Another pack that I've got here are the Mind cards, and by LSW, I forget what that stands for, but I will put links to these in the description box. So with these ones, again, it's just for sitting down and journaling. They're not as fancy looking, shall we say, or not necessarily fancy looking, but you can tell that design is important to the School of Life brand, whereas with this brand, it was more like just get the job done, maybe, and they do the job. So for example, this card says, what one thing went well for you today? So that's quite a nice little thing there to use with your journal. And then these dream chasers. I'm not sure how I feel about these ones. They're interesting. They feel more like playing cards, and they're very sort of typography based. But what I quite like for these is I will take one of these and pin it into my planner, and I will just show you very quickly. So I don't really use them to necessarily journal with, but I will pin it, and there might be some private info on here, but this is my this month tab, so I just will pin it onto my this month tab with my little Ollie clip there, little mini one, and it's just a nice reminder of like an affirmation, which I don't know how I feel about affirmations per se, but sometimes it's just nice to have that reminder every time I come into my monthly planning or weekly planning. And again, it is another analog tool for life with just simple reminders. And then the final thing that I'm going to share with you, and this is a bit of a new find. Here in the UK, we have a shop called Tiger. It might be called something else. Tiger something. I think it's just called Tiger. And it's one of those shops that's a real treasure trove of all sorts of different knick-knacky, cute, aesthetic, as the Alpha Gen would say, bits and pieces. And I spotted this when I was in there, and I just thought, how cute is this, with a little scalloped edge down the side, and these are sticky, so I can pull one out and stick it on a page somewhere. And I actually use these in my work planner when I'm working through a client project, and there might be little things like I might want to remind myself to order a sample for a particular fabric, or go on the shop floor and check how a certain sofa sits, or whatever it might be. I like to use this as a little to-do list. Again, rather than doing it on my phone with a digital system, having this that I can stick. It's even a nice size that I could use one of these and just stick it to the front of my phone or on the inside part of my phone as a little reminder of things that I want to pick up when I'm shopping, so that again, I'm not necessarily always looking in my phone for reminders of things that I need to buy or to get. I don't need to carry my big planner around. It just makes that list a little bit more portable and easy to manage. So that is it. A little run through of some of these, what I call analog tools for life, to get me away from my screen, to get me thinking, like I said, in complete sentences, things that are going to help me just ponder life, to focus on the essentials, to remind myself of the good things that have happened, to put the knots of life, undo them and put them down in straight lines. And yeah, if this has been useful, comment, drop me a like, and I shall catch you in the next one. Bye for now. Bye, bye, bye.